So, what's up, everybody? Welcome.
Hello,
Hello,
hello.
hello, hello.
From hurt to heal, we rise again, finding strength where pain has been.
So, welcome, everyone. It's an honor to sit here with you tonight for a conversation that reaches far beyond titles, our roles, or the mask that we sometimes wear just to get through the day. Tonight, we're talking about destiny, not the version we
Mhm.
present to impress others, but the one that calls to us when the world finally gets quiet. But before we get started, let me introduce my excuse me, my co-host with the most, Jerry D.
What's up, everybody? What's up? I'm glad I was
What's
able to be here with you guys again. How's everybody been doing?
great, great, great.
Good, good.
Yeah.
Beautiful ladies. It's
Mhm.
always a beautiful thing to be around some beautiful people, spirit minded, and all that good stuff. Hey, you're talking about destiny, and I want to say walking in destiny is just not about perfection, it's about alignment. It's about waking up and choosing to step forward in life and with good purpose, with God leading, with different experiences that prepare you. So you want to make sure that even when you don't feel completely ready, you don't have to feel pressed about that because destiny isn't always comfortable. It stresses us, it stretches us, excuse me, it challenges us. And sometimes we ask ourselves, like, should I walk away because it's something that I'm not familiar with? This is where we kind of connect with our own destiny and say, look, I got to take charge of who I am. And that's a part of like what Be First is, Bluffy First. That's my goal, is to make sure people know who they are and be okay with the truth and walk in their destinies.
Exactly. So before we get deeper in our conversation, let's introduce our two guests tonight. Unfortunately, Paula couldn't make it. Paula, just want you to know that you're in our prayers.
Yes, you are.
And Yukima is not be able to make it right now as well. So Yukima, you're in our prayers as well. So
Absolutely.
let's start off with Tamika D. Hello, Tamika D. Tell everybody who you are and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Tamika. Nice to meet everyone. Um, I am a photographer and a veteran.
Mhm.
Forgive
Thank
me.
you. Thank you.
Um, I'm settling, right? My mind is going a million places right now, but I'll just start with that and I will pass the mic back to you.
All right, thank you. And let's go to our next guest, Natalie Pritchard.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me. Being here with all these beautiful ladies. Everybody looking so good tonight. And I am Natalie Lillian, and I am a designer, CEO of Daffy's Treasures, and I'm also the president of the Robert A. Pritchard Strength and Health Initiative. And I'm excited to be here.
Yes, yes.
Thank you again. So, back to what we were talking about. So, destiny doesn't stand alone, it requires a reason, a why that anchors you when life tries to pull you in a thousand different directions. And we all know how that is.
Hmm.
Your
Hmm.
why is like a heartbeat of your journey. It
Yeah.
is what wakes you up in the morning. It's what keeps you moving when that fire gets hot. And it reminds you that your calling is bigger than your fear, your past, or your doubts. What you think, Jerry?
I do. I mean, even okay, we talk about destiny and we say with destiny and purpose, none of us can thrive without boundaries and accountability, right? Okay, V, I like to keep it real with everything that we're doing. So it's like we set up boundaries and for one to keep ourselves safe. And not only that, but sometimes boundaries are set up for other people, right? To keep them safe from what may happen if they cross this line, right? But at the same time, we got to be accountable for things that don't go the way we set them up for, and we have to protect what we're building with these boundaries. So we always want to stay focused on that. I mean, boundaries teach other people how to treat us. Um, Most importantly, I think that boundaries teach you how to treat yourself. They say my peace matters, my time matters, my calling matters. Accountability keeps us honest. It reminds us about healing, growth, and that success doesn't happen, in isolation. And that's why sometimes, even when we don't feel like being around people like we are right now, I'm pretty sure we all were doing things and moving around. You know what I mean? I just got back off the highway from picking up my family member from the airport. And, if I don't look flushed, I'm playing it off because literally I'm like, okay, I'm glad I just ran in here and sat down, but I want us to know that that's me being accountable, me taking accountability for positioning myself and saying yes, to a boundary that I said, okay, I'm going to set this. My boundary is not to not be accountable in things I do. And destiny is a personal thing, but it's never meant to be walked alone. What do you got to say about that, Vic?
You are absolutely right. So tonight, as we dive into this discussion, I invite you to reflect deeply. Are you truly walking in the direction of your destiny, or are you walking in circles? Do you know your why? Is it strong enough to carry you through the valleys? Or have you built the boundaries and accountability that you need to sustain your journey? This conversation is not about judgment, it's about empowerment. It's about reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your purpose, and your place in this world. It's about walking boldly into life where you have created and to be bold about your blessing. All right, ladies. So let's have some fun. Let's have some serious conversation. Y'all ready?
Let's get into it.
Okay.
Ready?
Let me ask each one of you a question. What does walking in your destiny mean to you personally?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Right.
I'll say for me to start off with, walking in my destiny, as we had said earlier, it does come with challenges because the destiny I see for myself maybe isn't what other people placed on my life. So it's sometimes uncomfortable because you have to stand bold in what you're trying to do. And I think I always say that often, like, be bold about your blessing, right? Because sometimes our destinies are that, right? It's like those are our blessings, you know what I mean? We running for what we want, and we have to do what comes natural to us. And a lot of times for me, it's like uplifting others, but the way I do it, maybe others may not see fit. But that's why I said I'm going to take that stigma, that negative stigma away about the word cannabis when I'm walking in my destiny, and filter it and make and show some positive lifestyle behind that. And then with that, I'm going to set some boundaries. I'm going to be accountable for how I do what I do. So then when people see that and they see what I'm doing as I walk in my destiny, it makes sense. It makes more sense, and they want to partake in that lifestyle.
I
Yeah.
totally agree with that.
Yes. For me, um, walking in my destiny, I have to first. I had to fully surrender myself to God's plan for my life.
Mm.
And even when I didn't understand what it means, and sometimes I still don't understand fully what it means, but I'm just basically trusting God with every experiences, the painful one. And that shit, been shaping me the past few years. I'm doing things that I never knew that I could do. It was through my pain that I found my purpose, right? And through my pain, I found my gift. Had I not gone through what I went through with my son, would I have ever discovered Natalie Lillian for Daffy's Treasure? I don't think so. So I don't think I know that this journey that I'm on is all God, because for everything that I do is Him, because I surprise myself daily with the things that I can do.
Come
And
on.
that's what you mean about, fully trusting and surrendering and just asking him to have his way. Because
Absolutely.
if we can't, it's not what we, our way. Sometimes, we like to see the full picture before we do. And I'm learning to just move. Like this week was a crazy week. Even today was a tough day for me. I'm getting ready for the expo this weekend. My machine went down. I was telling Vicky earlier, I worked last night. I haven't slept since I got home
Mm.
because I had to go to the Atlanta Sewing Center. Thank God, that's where I learned the sew at. So it was like at first, it was like it take 2 to 3 weeks for us to look at your machine. And I found my friend that was there when I first went there, and I was like, "Girl, I got a show this weekend, and I'm always talking about the Atlanta Sewing Center. Can you please?" And she actually stopped and helped me, and she fixed the problem and told me next week just take the machine back there for them to, troubleshoot it. And so it was God again, because when I got off work this morning, I have to get the stuff ready.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
I was basically fine tuning everything, making sure everything is locked, professionally, this, that. And I didn't even speak to my mom. I just ran on out of here. I took the machine and just I had to go do my nails. I was like, okay, they're gonna be interviewing me. I can't be having my nails looking crazy. And boy, were they looking crazy.
No, you're okay. You're
So
beautiful.
it was just it
That's
was
true.
just God. Yeah, it was just God. I was like, okay, God, you're gonna however things didn't work out, some things the way I wanted it to be. I had all these great plans, but I say, you know what? I'm just gonna trust God plan for the day.
That's
Period.
So
it.
that's me trusting in whatever.
Absolutely. What about you, Miss Tamika? How,
Yes,
what
ma'am.
does walking in your destiny mean to you?
Okay, so first, I would just like to say I am just appreciative of being in a room with such resilient women, right? Because what we're juggling, insane, right?
Yeah.
And Natalie, like I loved how you said surrender. Surrender was my word as well. Um, Walking in your destiny to me is not to be repetitive, but surrendering yourself, taking a back seat,
Hmm.
and just witnessing how God moves in your life. Right? I have conversations with a friend of mine all the time, and we talk about our vision for ourselves. And I'll tell them, like, if you want to make God laugh, tell him what your plans are. Right?
Okay.
'Cause
Girl.
you may not be doing what you thought you was gonna be doing. Right?
How
Right?
they
And then we
doing? Is
talk
this
about
right here?
right our future plans, like because I'm a single mom, right? And he's looking for his woman, right? And I'm like, well, me, when I was with my child's father, I envisioned him as my future, my destiny, right? And to
Mm.
have to sit back and say, God, like, what do you have in store for me? Because what I thought was for me wasn't for me. I don't want to drive drunk.
Come
I just
on.
got to keep moving. So,
Mm.
outside of surrendering, just being fluid to receive and witness what God has for me.
Yeah,
All right.
that's that commitment to that challenge to oneself that you don't know. That's that commitment. Oh, and letting God lead. Excellent. What about was it? Can you guys think of a moment in your life where maybe you were living off track from what you kind of had set forward for yourself? I'll start with you, Tamika. Like living off
So,
track from the way you were setting yourself up, your destiny.
absolutely. Right. Outside of being married, right? I envision myself married by now. um, the younger me wanted to be or had that entrepreneur spirit at a young age, right? I was like, by 28, I'm going to be a business owner. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. 28, I had a job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was
Security.
joining the military. Um, Structure, right? It didn't look like what I thought it was gonna look like. But God took me through that to allow me to have the mindset that I had today, or that I have today. Because who knows how I would have turned out if I would have got what I wanted. So he made provisions for me to align me with this moment today.
Okay.
No, that is a beautiful thing. And
Okay.
I'll say this. I'll piggyback off of you, Tamika, when you say that God is humorous in the way that he does things as much as he is just. When you talk about destiny and living life, I always say, I'm going to do me, right? This is it. This is my time. I'm going to do the things I have to do. Well, right now, it's not quite for me yet. This is where, when you talk about when I realize you've been living off track, I'm like, okay, I always put the job more important than I did myself. I always found where I was giving the job more time than I was giving myself. So for me, that was like living outside of my destiny. My destiny wasn't just to give somebody else all my time. It was really just to kind of juggle it in a way that it was fulfilling to one, up above our Lord and Savior. Like that was first and foremost. But not only with doing that, it was to making sure that I was good here and here. And I wasn't going to be good for anybody if I wasn't good to myself.
That was alignment, just
Yeah.
in a nutshell. For
Yeah.
me, um, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never thought I'd be doing anything like this. I was always the person that was behind the scenes, make sure everybody else got the glory and the fame and the
Come on.
fortune and this, that, and the other, because that wasn't me. So for God to shift and say, okay, not only are you gonna start, because I've been trying to start my own, well, I've been doing small things to start my own business for over probably 20 years, which is pretty much telling my age, whatever. But
23.
at 55 is when he showed me, now that you're being obedient, I'm going to show you what I can do for you. That's where my shift started. And then during that time period, um, this year, or yeah, earlier part of this year, I had a conversation with Dwayne, of course, and he was talking
We
about
love
wanting to
Dwayne.
do, yes, wanting to do something, to talk about people's pain and this, that, and the other. That day, nobody, because that store is usually busy. During that time we were talking, nobody came in the store the entire time. So we were talking and everything, and he was like, "Well, Mrs. Bayman, you need to you gonna be in charge of this." And I'm like, "Huh? Me? I don't do stuff like this in front of people." And he was like, "You gonna do it now because it's your time."
Yeah.
That's a shift for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, um, and even the episodes that I've done so far, the way the conversations have been, and how people are willing to know that this is a safe platform to speak their truth and to be able to heal out loud. That's a shift for me, because I would have never in a million years thought I'd be doing anything like this.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm so glad you are. I'm so
Yeah.
glad because you're
My
pushing me,
shift,
you're encouraging me, motivating me to do the same.
yes. My shift happened. My shift happened when my son had the stroke.
Mm,
That was what, because he had graduated from college. I was in a position where I was like, oh, I'm getting ready to do this, do that. Your child doing everything that was asked of him. And then you're on the highest high, sitting on the highest mountain. And then before you know it, you're in the lowest valley looking up, right? And that basically took everything out of me. It broke me, it humbled me, it actually rebuilt me. Everything that could have happened happened. The pain, we talk about, from hurt to heal. How do you go from hurting so bad, like you get up, you can't even put your feet on the ground because your pain is so, you know, your child is sick.
and you
That
feel
was my
completely
only
broken.
child.
You feel
Yeah.
completely broken because you
So
at a point you don't know what to do.
you don't know what to do. And the only person you have is God.
That's it.
And I remember how I used to cry and I'm still crying. I'm still feeling some kind of way at times, I still feel ungrateful at times. I'm like, okay, I see everything I journey where they been. And my mother always, when I'm in that place, she like, why not you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
So
I had to
okay.
learn.
So with why not you? Excuse me, Miss Natalie. What advice would you give to someone who feels lost and unsure of their purpose?
I would say you have to know, you have to seek God and seek yourself for yourself. Because once I learned to have faith, because we can give people all the advice. I have people giving me so many advice. And I take, and at times in my life, those advice come to my head and I can use it. But what we don't understand sometimes when people are in pain, we share our experiences with people, hoping to help them. That because we've been through and we're here and we're like, okay, look at me. I've been in that position. I was even worse off than you or whatever, but I'm here. Look what God did for me. So how do you get that person to see themselves where you are, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So all you can do, like when I talk to people, I tell them that I am not you. I can't tell you how to grieve. I can't tell you how to express your pain. It's something that you have to basically, God will show you the way as to how to express. We go for guidance. Like I have my mom, I have my family, my pastor, I had my community, my friends that was there to help me and pick me up at different times because like this week I was feeling so kind of way and one of my girlfriends just called me. She was like, you were just in my spirit.
Mm.
She was
Nice.
like, come over after work so we can eat some potato grains. It's an African dish her mom cooked for Thanksgiving. So I was like, oh, I have all this stuff I need to do and da da da, whatever. She was like, okay, if you decide to come, just let me know. So I got off work. I was driving home. I was like, I got so much to do. And the Holy Spirit told me, just turn the car and go to your girlfriend's house. And I went there and she had food for us to eat. And
Mm.
we didn't even really talk much because she was studying for her test that she taken. But it's God will always place the right person that will give you what you need. Even at times you don't even know what it is you need or what to do with it. But when as you move along in your process, you learn and different things. Even now, all these years, it's been so many years, but
Mm-hmm.
there's still people that cross my path during my journey with Robert that
Mm-hmm.
I can still hear some of their advice in my head. That now is important because, there's so many different levels of healing. We went from the doctor telling us you're not going to make it, you can't walk, you can't eat, you can't do anything. And my son was here for Thanksgiving and we walking in Helen, Georgia the whole way. I'm looking at him and I had my moments where I was looking at him and I was like, wow, God is good
All the time.
to
Yeah.
see him walk miles. I keep asking him, are you okay? Because, he still have a limp and he lost all that weight. And we went through all those things of praying that he would lose the weight, that he would, and just to see him able to walk his skin, he's just glowing and people stopping him, the old people, the young people telling him, oh my God, you are so handsome. And they'll ask him, what happened to you? Why are you? And he like, ma'am, I had a stroke. You had a what? And he like, and his spirit is my son's spirit is so calming. It's like it's the light that's around him that I can't explain it. And I'm not just saying that because he's my son, but you ever meet him, it's just like through everything, I've been posting pictures and our journey. And when I do that, I get sad. But I know I have to do certain things. And just seeing, I ask him for pictures and stuff. I'm like, hey, can I share? Because I always like to share what he wants me to share and not,
No, that's
because it's
beautiful.
just, yeah. But just
That's
to see that, so, Jerry, it's like, we have to just listen and prayer for me. I'm a praise and worship girl. When I don't know how to pray, I tell people I know how to, when I can't say the words, I go to music
come on. Yeah.
because it, that music will always speak to me. And I'm an old hymn girl. I like the old spiritual hymn. That's what I was raised on.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
Yeah.
beautiful. What about you, Tamika? What's your why? What's your why to stay steadfast on your walk in your destiny? What's your why and how'd you discover it?
I'm struggling with the mute button. It's hovering. I'm sorry.
It's
So,
okay.
what's my why?
Yeah, like what's your why to stand steadfast and to walk in your destiny?
Okay. So, how I'm receiving it is, how am I able to, what tools do I use to be resilient?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, in a discussion that I had with someone recently, worship,
Okay.
right? When we get in that mindset, for me, when I get in that mindset where it's a little gray, I'm a little down, right? Um, I've struggled with low self-esteem. I've struggled with depression. Struggled with just being overburdened, tired, like you name it. Worship. Worship can take that emotional state, allow you to address it, and it just shifts your spirit where you go from being sad to being in a
Mhm.
position of praise. Um, just try it. Or I challenge you out there, try it, right? And see what it does for you. Outside of surrounding yourself with like-minded people
Mm-hmm.
and going to the Word. A lot of times, our environment and who we associate with weighs on us. We don't
Absolutely.
realize it, but we can take in that bad energy. Um, there's one more fact, but it escapes me right
That's okay. We'll come back to it.
It's okay. It's wonderful.
So, what role have boundaries played in your personal and professional growth, Jerry?
Oh, let me see. What role has boundary played in my personal and professional growth? In my personal growth, my boundaries are more honest. Okay, and I'm stuck, right? I'm stuck because I want to make sure I want to make sure I'm using this in the right way. My boundaries, honestly, are for respect, personally, and respect means sometimes when you disagree with certain things, that's a boundary for me. You still have to find a way to be respectful in a disagreement. That's my personal. My professional boundary. I don't think I've come across honesty. It's like a
That's
yeah,
important.
yeah,
It's very important.
yeah. Because you're so wrapped up into what's going on. A lot of times, that's the hardest thing to do is to find out one who can you speak to about what you got going on. I mean, so it's like you got to create a boundary for everything you do. Like, because we'll go back to what you guys were talking about, Natalie and Tamika, about energy and when you're not around the right people. And that's one thing I try to live by. Um, I asked the question of some people like, how would they describe me? You know what I mean? And a lot of people did say that I'm very direct with how I am as far as I'm going to be treated, because I'm going to treat you respectfully. So that's a boundary. You know what I mean? Um, and then some others couldn't answer. And then I started thinking, well, I wonder why somebody couldn't answer. And that kind of touched me personally. And I go, well, maybe it was because you crossed the boundary.
What if they didn't know what boundaries mean? Because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't realize that boundaries are important because so many people want to step over those boundaries and treat you the way they want you to be treated instead of treat you the way that you want to be treated. Another boundary is like in a couple of jobs, I was sexually harassed and I ended up getting fired because they harassed me. Make that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, my boundary was do not come at me like that. But because they thought I was young and dumb and naive, they thought that they could get away with a lot of stuff. But, you know, I had to realize then that my voice mattered. And that's a boundary. If you don't realize your voice matter, people are going to take advantage of it.
Now look, and boundaries aren't always ethical because obviously they let you go because they had a boundary. They said, look, we're gonna
Right.
keep the same riffraff here, but what we're gonna do is let go of somebody who could, you know what I mean,
Yeah. But
toss
that
this boat around a little bit, you know?
just think about it. If it was the point where I was not removed, where would I be at today? So it was part of my journey and the plan that God had for me. So, you know, looking back at it now, I see it. But when you're going through it, you don't see a lot of those situations, and that is going to be good for you in the in the end. Where now that I've my relationship with God and even with people around me, because I'm being more aware of the people that I put around in my circle now, in my inner circle, because you know you have multiple layers of circles. You have
Absolutely.
your inner circle where the people that you really trust, and then you have the next ring where they cool and everything, but
Coexist.
I'm gonna give them that 10-foot pole theory, and it just keeps going out, the multiple circles and stuff. So
And I say, like, I say that was the hardest part for me is to set that line right there. And sometimes people would think it wouldn't be hard for me, but it really is because I'm such a nurturer. I love, and I set the boundary for my safety. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like I'm like, look, let me set it for my safety because I can't handle it. I love hard. I go hard for people. You know what I mean? So I'm like, nah, 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 nah. Once that line is crossed, I'm like, nah, I gotta think about what I'm gonna do and how I'm gonna move. But with
right.
that being said, what was the hardest part about you setting a boundary, Miss Natalie, with what's been going on with your focus on this new endeavor that you have?
Um, with me, I never actually had a problem with setting boundaries because my personality is I'm a giver. I give my all, whether it's friendship, relationship, work. When I was working in corporate, I was the one that they put with the clients that nobody else could deal with because of the way I dealt with them. And I always used to tell my boss, this is not my daddy company. You ain't gonna stress me out, you know. So I would have, because I was in the auditing business where you have people will call and just be cussing you out. And, sometimes they'll call and want to cuss. I'd be like, okay, so you done? Like, so what was that about? And they became my best friend. You know what I'm saying? And my
Yes.
auditors were able to go and do their, I'm like, you can't be ugly like that. You don't have any insurance. What you gonna do? Then you gonna go ahead and bully me? But I always had a way with how I deal with people because I always deal with people like I always meet people. I meet them where they are, and I work my way up with them. Because when you meet people where they are, there's no room for you to. I know some people say it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yep.
Because what I've learned, because I have, I don't have that many friends, but I have friends that they're my sisters. They're very close to me. I
Totally.
have friends. I have a friend for everything in my life that I can go to this friend or this, and talk to about and stuff like that. And I've been in a position where I have friends that was everything to me, pastors that was, I'm thinking they're in the word of God, they're going to be this, they will never do that. And they was the one that hurt me the most.
It's like
Took
that.
from me, didn't give back, and just basically stopped talking to me, acted like I was the one that did something to them, and I did nothing to them. So I always try to treat people like I do myself. I always like to look at myself in the mirror because I'm not too proud to say I'm sorry. But my mother always tell me I'm a hard person because when you cross me, I can look at you and don't talk to you. I can see you and don't see you. I'm the nicest person, but
So you do have a boundary.
I do. I put that boundary, but I know, yeah, because it's something that comes naturally for me. I don't
Absolutely.
have to struggle with it because I deal with people off of energy.
Yes.
What you give to me is what I'm going. I don't like my feelings hurt. So if I'm dealing with you and I feel that shift, I know how to adjust myself and recalibrate
Absolutely.
because I don't like my feelings hurt. I don't want to hurt your feelings because if you put me in the position to hurt your feelings, I can be very ugly with my words.
Absolutely.
Because my grandmother could tell you things like a sailor. I remember being a little girl, there's things I can say that will hurt, and I don't like to go there. So I can remove myself from you emotionally, and it's like I never even knew you.
So
And
again,
that's my peace.
it's that line of respect, and I think everybody
Yeah,
is like that.
it's my
That
peace.
line of
Yeah,
respect. Yeah.
yeah. Because I respect you. And I'm the kind of person I feel like if anywhere, whether friendship, relationship, whatever it is, at any time, if I offend you and you don't tell me what the offense is, I can't fix it.
Come on. That's right. Talk about
And
it.
some things are very simple. I think communication, I always said lack of communication is the killer of anything good, right? And people tend to judge. A lot of people are so judgmental. People see you, they don't know what you're going through today. Like Vicky was saying, nobody know your struggle this week. All they do is see the outside, but they don't know the inside of what it is that you're struggling with and dealing with. And people would just treat people any kind of way. They would say anything. They would make up lies. They're just ugly for no reason. Because there's no reason for you to be so ugly. If at any point in any relationship you feel like you don't want to be friends, you don't want to be whatever, it's your right to remove yourself from it respectfully. That's why I don't ignore people calls. I don't act like I don't want to be bothered. I tell you I don't want to be bothered with you
Look, and
Okay.
because I
that's
don't
what
like the feeling of being feeling
absolutely.
like, yeah. I would
That's
tell
what
you
we
I
were
don't want to talk to you
That's what we were
and I
talking
don't have
about.
to talk to
How do
you.
you stay grounded? This was one of the questions we had was how do you stay grounded when the journey gets overwhelming? Like what you were saying, Natalie, which was perfect, or when it gets discouraging. Because there was times like, we were talking about it, or even Tamika, you were saying, oh my God, today's been a day like I'm foggy. I'm trying to, there's some day moments where I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get
You don't
up.
want to
I
do
can
it?
only encourage people so much. When you're looking for the encouragement yourself, when you can't uplift yourself. So it's like, how do you stay grounded? And let me ask you, Tamika, how do you stay grounded when the journey gets overwhelming and discouraging?
For me,
No, for Miss Tamika, Tamika D.
Tamika, okay.
There you go.
Means mute. So I journal, right? I find to silence the noise in my head and really focus on what I want to address. I need to journal. And I pour all my energy into that. That keeps me grounded and that keeps me connected to God.
Hmm.
Because I don't want to approach the situation with my own energy. It will not be beneficial.
Yes, 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 yes,
My
yes.
sons and others, and I have a friend that will intercede for me and pull me to the side if he sees me getting out of bed. Or I'll go for a nice walk.
That's a
Those are
good
the
one.
things.
That's good. I mean, same thing. What about you, Miss Vic?
Oh, wow. So for
Come
me,
on. How do you stay grounded when the journey gets overwhelming and discouraging?
I have to walk away. Um, because I know I have two personalities. There's a Nikki and a Vicky. So, I'm gonna keep it real with you. Nikki's nasty, Vicky is victory.
Period.
When I feel Nikki coming, that's time for me to exit left. Gather myself because Nikki can be very nasty. I gather myself and I have to think about, okay, one, who am I dealing with? Two, what are they going through? Because hurt people hurt people. So I have to walk away and kind of just think about things and try and get my thoughts together because I know I can be, I don't know if you ever heard of the word nasty and nice at the same time. Be professional and can strike you down and you won't even know it. And I just try
Yeah.
not to be that way. So I try.
Look, she tries, you guys. She does a good job. She does do a good job. And for a final message to, let's see, Miss Natalie, what would you give? What message would you give to someone struggling, walking boldly in their destiny?
Oh my goodness. What message would I give to them? I would just tell them to just look into yourself. Look, you have to go to God first. People find like, I love Dr. Miles Monroe, right? I got introduced to him a couple of years ago by my friend, and his teachings are just so important. He's passed away many years ago, but when you listen to him, it's like he's here. And he just speaks to my soul with his message. Like I'll get up in the morning, like this week, he has some messages about when you don't want to do something, get up and do it because that's when your breakthrough may be, like get up. You know how it is sometimes you get up, you don't even want to move. You're like, okay, what am I going to do today? So discouraging. You have to encourage yourself. You
Yeah.
have to encourage yourself. You have to talk to God. I'm a believer in asking of God because when I look at everything that I've been through and my conversations with God and what He has done in my life, even though sometimes because I'm human, I tend to, feel some kind of way and whatever. But I know that there is a God.
Yes.
You have to be able to, your faith is everything. You have to have faith. You have to trust. And you have to trust this. You have to trust yourself. I think a lot of times people can find themselves because we listen to too many voices.
Mm.
We listen to too many people. And I had issues with that too, because even, especially with my business, because like sometimes I talk to Vicky, I don't know. I, I do certain things that I think going to elevate my business in the business side because it's not my, it's not my strength, right? So I'm doing this, and this person tell me do this. Oh, it's going to work this. It's going to work that. When I learn to stop listening to everybody else and listen to my voice and my heart,
Come on.
my designs, I started to create. I started to to develop, to basically know what it is Darcy's treasure is.
Yeah.
Who is
Yeah.
Natalie Lillian? I can pitch my business to you now. Like, I'm an Afrofusion bohemian chic, you know, brand. My fashion is for a purpose. I started this business to support my foundation, and I got away from that. It was because of the foundation, because of what happened with my son that I started the business. And
Yes.
listening to this person, you spend money here, you spend money there, you can't even see what you spend the money for. And you don't understand it. So I was telling Vicky, so now I just learning myself what it is that I need to do and what works for me. And I'm on my own little winding road, right? Sometimes I can speed it up and sometimes I have to slow it down and figuring it out along the way and trusting God. And we never seen God before. God can stand in front of us, right? And whether he behind or we don't know because God lives in us, right? And he sent people to minister to us. That's
Yes.
why he put Vicky, Jerry, Tamika. That's why he put us in each other's life, that we able to take what it is that he trying to say to us.
Absolutely.
But
And to
for us to
piggyback off
receive,
of that, not to be
mhm,
yes people. You have to, to anybody who's struggling, walking bold in your destiny, look, you don't be around yes people. That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying.
mhm,
But you have to have like-minded people around you. You have to
yeah,
have people. When I say like-minded, I don't mean doing what you do. Everybody that's around me does not smoke.
mhm,
That's where Bloffy derived from me. Blowing smoke, doing what we're doing right now, camaraderie.
mhm,
You know what I mean? Lifting one another up.
Mhm.
That was for me how it started. But at the same time, be bold with how you're doing it because it is going to be uncomfortable when people don't
yeah,
understand what it is, why you're doing what you're doing. Like with what you're doing, Miss Natalie, your son is so important. But then when you look at other people and other people say things like, oh, well, it happened and he's better now, so why do I have to support? You know what I mean? You have to
and
walk boldly in your reason behind, and it's not
yeah,
about your son, it's about where it's going after what he actually went through.
yeah. And that's when I tell people, and that's when I tell people what happened to me with my son. Had it not happened, would I be a giver? Would I be giving on the level that I am?
Yeah.
Probably not, because the thing is, we lead with empathy. We anything we do, we lead from the heart. If something happened to you that your loved one, most of our causes when we here trying to, because every year, like you said, I'm out here, I'm asking people to help to do this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. It's my passion, it's my heart. What I've come to understand, there's some people at times people don't have it to give.
At, yeah.
And I'll be back again next year.
I know
I
that's
have
right.
people that would give to me, that have given to me, and not every year or every time that you're doing something, people are in the position to give to you financially. But people will give to you, whether it's through support, like you said, the people, like-minded people that you have around you. I'm blessed to have some amazing women in my life.
Absolutely.
I have
Ditto.
some amazing, amazing women friends, and I always make this joke. I say I have women friends in high places. My friends, they all got these big titles and got things going on that I can call, and they're just there.
Hmm.
I got Bianca she would pray for me. She's someone I met at church, and she basically spoke all these things into my life when I walked through the door. She basically spoke it. She
Yes.
saw it, and she told me she saw me on the runway. I was a fashionista, this and that, blah blah. And I was like, yeah, yeah, whatever. And then I have Tina, I have Shirley, I have Josh, I have people in my life that God placed for different things, and I value that. So
For
you have to have, those things, and know that your your purpose is my purpose, is not your purpose.
That's
We
right.
all have our purpose. Just like people with my thing is stroke and health and prevention because of what happened to me. That's why you have people that have all these different organizations, people that help the homeless because they were homeless, or they affected, or there's certain things that would touch people's heart to do and to give,
So
right?
basically, for somebody who is getting discouraged about that or struggling with doing that, don't be, you're gonna feel that because that's natural.
Yes,
You're gonna
yes,
you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel
yes,
discouraged sometimes.
yes,
But being around people, having somebody to call, no different than how we know which route to take to work. You know how sometimes we like, oh, we're
yes,
gonna go this route, we're gonna go this route, but then one day we're like, let me try this other way. And then you
yes,
like, dag on it. I should have came this way a long time ago. That's what I feel like it is when I meet new people. I'm like,
yes,
sometimes I'm like, nah, I don't even worry about it. I don't worry. And then I let myself open a little bit and I'm like, dag on it. I just met another gem. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that is the truth.
At first, I was gonna say
Exactly.
I'm not worried about it. So yeah, definitely, definitely. Oh man, I've enjoyed this time that we've had here, you girls. I mean, it's just been a blessing to be around you guys all the time and share these stories with one another. Miss Vic, is there anything that you have to say as far as how we're gonna close out?
So first of all, one, I want to say thank you, ladies, for joining me tonight. And another thing I want to say is walk unapologetically. You don't owe anybody anything. The only person you owe somebody to is God, because He's the one that allowed you to do everything you're doing. Everybody around you, hey, y'all here on my train. If you want to
Yeah.
get off. I'm okay with that. My
Yes,
life is gonna be okay if you in here in my life or if you're not in my life. I'm all good.
absolutely.
And that's one thing that I have to tell myself every day, because for a very, very long time I had issues looking at myself in the mirror. And
Mm-hmm.
it's probably took maybe, it's been maybe 2 years. I'm not even like maybe a year where I'm like, I can literally look myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
And that took so much from me, because I always thought that I was failing and everything. And it just, you know, maturing and paying attention and just letting go of everything and letting God handle it showed me that He's proud of me, and He see me as being priceless. So I need to see myself as being priceless too.
Absolutely.
So ladies,
Yeah.
before we close, is there anything you want to share? Like Natalie, you have your event coming up this weekend. If you want to talk about that real quick. So
Yes, this weekend we're going to be at the Atlanta Women Expo on Saturday and Sunday. And I have the honor of being one of the speakers on Sunday. So y'all pray for me. Oh, God,
Yes, definitely.
pray for me. But, it's, I'm walking into uncharted territory, right?
You got it.
So, and, I just, so I'm just believing God for it, and just this journey that I'm on, and with all the delays and detours and everything, the disappointment and everything that I've gone through that have gotten me here. Because as with everything I look at, I say for every disappointment is a blessing, and that's not cliche. Because how we get here, I look at how I met, Jerry, Vicky, Tamika, meeting you, beautiful, all of you guys, along the way, God will place you and He will plant you. And wherever He wants you to grow, you're going to bloom, So, and I'm just grateful that I'm in the position that I'm in, or, doors that God is opening up, because He know my heart. The foundation for me is is my calling, is my purpose.
yes, ma'am.
And what I went through with my son is not something that I wish on anybody,
Mm-mm.
and that there's so many families that going through. Um, we have, you know, s- I'm from Africa. I'm from Liberia, which is a third world country, and healthcare is none over there. So I'm going to keep talking, and I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to keep telling my story, because somebody will hear it and be able to help. And people are very generous.
Oh,
And
definitely.
even though at times people can't help based on the situation, but somebody can't give you $5. There's somebody that will come and give you 100.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's
So
still
I'm learning
that's
to
still
trust
money that
in
can be
God.
used towards something. That's what people
Yes,
Absolutely.
like, I can only give whatever, but you're
yes,
giving.
yes, you're giving, and it
That's
adds up.
right.
And
That's
and just being,
that's
and
it.
sometimes all people can do is to pray for you. You
Literally.
know, sometimes people would say,
Pray for me.
pray for me. You're not, because those prayers are going to open doors.
Come
And
on.
sometimes those prayers are going to open the door that's going to give you exactly what you need, right? So
Yes,
I
ma'am.
tell people, pray for me, and I receive all the prayers. And, I pray for you guys. I pray for especially Vicky, that you know, that God will strengthen you, that you're going to keep doing what you're doing, keep imparting into us. You know, it's a lot. Because sometimes you can't even help yourself and you out here helping us. So that's a testament to you, you know,
Absolutely.
because I know I've been leaning on you for some things. And even though you didn't feel well, you still were able to help me and to guide me in what it is and even uplifting me. Because, you know, when I call, you can hear from the tone of my voice. I'm blessed that I have really good friends that can pick up my vibes and be like, okay, now what's really going on?
Mm-hmm.
You know, what do you need? How can I help you? What's happening? You
And the
know, so
same for
that's
Tamika.
my blessing there.
So,
Yeah.
Jerry
Yeah.
and Tamika, give me a final message that you would give someone about walking boldly in their destiny.
Go
Tamika, you
ahead,
go
Tamika.
first.
I would just say walk in faith. And how do you eat an elephant, right? One bite at a time,
All right.
Yeah.
right? And God entrusts you with little to see how you perform with it before He'll trust you with a lot.
Mm, I
Okay.
like that.
I'll say, my dad says, don't got to be right or wrong, just got to be true.
Come
So
on, man.
stay focused, stay focused in what it is you do. Stay true to yourself. It is a struggle at times to get out of that mode where you're worried about what other people are thinking about what it is that you're doing. Stay focused because I promise you, for every person that you're worried about, there's 50 more that are rooting for you.
That's
And
it.
I can
Mm-hmm.
say that it's a fact. It's a fact. Okay?
Yep.
But walk bold in what you're doing. There's no way in life I ever would have done this. Um, right
That
now
part.
I'm like, you know what? I know, really, really, like I'm really just, I've always been a motivator. I've always been somewhat of a, I'll tell you what people tell me. I'm somewhat of a lifestyle coach. How I don't know. I wouldn't put that title on myself, but what I say is I'm an encourager to what
Nurture.
I see in you. I'm
Nurture.
a nurturer.
Yeah.
I am as well. I am as well. But that's because I'll take it back to what Miss Natalie says. I know what it's like to hurt.
Yes.
So when
Definitely.
you know what it's like to hurt, you know what it's like to make people heal.
Yes.
So you're gonna do everything you can to make sure you bring out the best in them, no
Hmm.
matter
Yeah.
what.
So my thing would be don't let anybody steal your joy because it's a gift from God, not man. So with that being said, again, ladies, thank you. I do want to let everybody know December 16th, my book is coming out. I'm doing a 365-day devotional called
Woo-hoo.
From Hurt to Heal. It's going to start off with brokenness, and in 12 months, you're gonna have some type of healing from the walk that you're gonna go through in my book. So y'all look forward for it coming out. I'm excited about this book because it tells my story that a lot of
Yeah.
people don't know about. So I'm excited about that.
Absolutely. We look forward to that.
As
Yeah.
as we close this powerful conversation, I want to honor every truth spoken, every story shared, and every heart open tonight. Walking in your destiny is a lifelong process, one that requires courage, intention, boundaries, and the willingness to be held accountable by those you want to see you that who want to see you win. But remember this, your destiny will always demand a better version of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Not a perfect version, just a willing one. Keep
Mm.
walking, keep growing, and keep choosing yourself and your purpose every single day. Love you all. Look out for the next one. It's going to be even better.
Yes.
We will see you next week. Blessings.
Mm. Bless
Blessings.
them. Love you
Blessings.
guys.
Buck, buck, buck.